In this video, we're going to review the DYISLAND e-bike braking system. They sent me these for review, and let's check it out. This is a hydraulic braking system, and I'm hoping that it's going to really improve the braking on my e-bike because it is pretty bad. This looks like this will be a caliper. Wow, that looks cool. It's already attached to the respective lever. I think this would be the front. You know, it looks kind of like a shorter hose. I do like the machining on here. That looks really cool. You can see the tool paths from the milling machine, and I assume they left these in here just for aesthetic reasons, and I agree wow, that looks really cool. So this is obviously, this body was, maybe not this part, but the body itself was obviously machined from a billet piece of aluminum, which looks really good. This is almost going to look too good for the bike it's going on. This is also obviously billet aluminum. And here's everything you get sort of in an unpacked form. Of course, you have the levers and the calipers themselves. Comes with two large 180 millimeter discs, which means I will be using these discs because the current ones I have are only 160. And some tools, looks like some adapters. These are for your brakes. Anyway, let's go ahead and get it installed. Okay, here's the bike that we're going to be installing these brakes onto. It's basically a cheap Amazon.com style bike. I think they're about 500 bucks new shipped. It's an Archner, like Sunshine or something like that. But 500 watt motor, you know, typical low end cheap e-bike. And that's exactly why we need to do this, because these brakes are, I would call, barely adequate. Hopefully this will be a nice upgrade. And the thing with it is this bike can go pretty fast, so you want to be able to slow down fast too, right? So I did some testing. It's the same test I've done before. I'll put the table up on the screen, but basically you can go from 30k an hour to 0 in about 28 feet, which is about 4 to 5 feet worse than my gravel bike that I've tested before. So just for reference, hopefully when we get everything upgraded, we'll bring that down a little bit. Now, the first thing I'm a little bit concerned about is the electronics. This e-bike, just like pretty much every e-bike, has a power cutoff switch in the brake lever. So the new one will have that also, and we need to hope and make sure that the cables are gonna match up to each other. So I'm gonna go ahead and first I'm gonna take this phone cord looking. This looks like the old phone cord from the 90s, right? Does anybody remember that? So get that out of the way. Now this bike, as original, has cable pull disc brakes. That's part of the problem. It's a 50-pound bike with cheap cable pull disc brakes. You know, that's the issue here. And if you've seen my kind of first look at the bike, that's what I said. The only thing that really kind of bothers me about the bike, really, is the braking performance is really just barely on the edge of what I would even consider adequate. Okay, well, I just ran into something not quite what I expected. So like I said before, DYISLAND actually did me a favor and installed the cables and everything for me. A hose, and I assume bled the brakes and everything for me. However, it looks like they have it set up for a British or maybe international setup, I don't know. But over in the US, this left one should be your front, and that's not right because it's upside down. So I think they set it up like you would in England, where this is your rear. So I need to switch it, which means I will need to re-bleed everything. Okay, this shouldn't be too bad to fix, but basically all we're going to need to do is switch the levers, you know, onto the other hoses. There we go. Put that one on there. Done. Put this one on here. Actually, I didn't lose near as much fluid as I expected. That was easy, so I swapped them out. Snug that down, nothing crazy. That. Now, because this bike came with 160 millimeter rotors and we're going to be going up to 180, we're going to use their supplied adapter to bring it from 100 to be able to mount 180 millimeter discs on here. So I think it goes like this. I'm going to go ahead and try that, and then of course the caliper will go like that. And like I said, I'm not tightening this down all the way, just kind of a little bit tight. There is a lot of movement. This is a slot, so you can adjust it as needed. Now, I was worried about the electronics working, but I can see that they're going to mate up just perfectly. There's actually arrows on the outside here, which indicate how they go. There we go. It's It's a little bit loose, but it's gonna have to do. What also is a little loose, and I think I'm gonna want to do something about it, is the brake cable itself. I told them the measurements, and maybe I told them wrong, or it would work for sure, but I think it'll look better a couple inches shorter. Okay, we're gonna shorten this hose by about 2 inches, and it's been a couple days because I had to buy this kit. You know, it's a hydraulic brake hose cut and joint set tool. I've never done this, so you're gonna get to watch me stumble through the process. Got this tool on Amazon. I think it was, I don't know, around $20. I'll put it up on the screen. I would have got the expensive Park Tool one because I'm kind of into that buy once, cry once thing now. But honestly, the reviews for it were pretty poor, really no better than one of these cheaper ones. So rather than spending $100, I just got this. I don't think this is something I'm going to be doing too often. Undo that, and then I think you just tug that a little bit, comes out. The important thing I did see online is that you need to make this cut as absolutely square as possible. So I'm actually trying to straighten out the hose a little bit. Okay. Wow, that cut super easily. So this nut will be able to press it like that. And I believe this then goes like that. Now this is where we need the tool because this should be really tough to push in. You can't just do it with your hands, I don't think. This is like a clamp right here. See how I'm opening that? And we're gonna stick our cable housing in. Not cable, hose housing, or hose itself, and clamp it down. And I guess it needs to be fairly snug so it doesn't move. And then we're gonna turn this to push this on. Reminds me a little bit of a chain tool. Okay, I can feel it's going on already, so this is going pretty good already. I'm just going really slow because, you know, I don't know what I'm doing really. I think that's it. Okay, back that out, take that off. It looks pretty good to me. I know there's got to be air in here, so we're going to have to re-bleed it, but it actually feels fine so far. Of course, we have the block in here, so it's not going anywhere. Okay, I attached the caliper down at the bottom. Here is the cable, and to be honest, it's still a little long. I probably could take off another 2 inches, but maybe later I'll shorten it up even more now that I know how, and it's actually very easy. I'm gonna go ahead and check out the rear ones. I'm not gonna show you all that process because it's basically gonna be the exact same thing. I'm gonna try to get the length right, I'm gonna cut it, and we'll come back once I start installing it. Okay, I got the hose cut on the back, and I have the caliper temporarily mounted just loosely, and I'm just looking at the routing. Now, because this used to have cables, of course, and it had the kind of old style cable, where I call it the old style, where the cable housing would terminate here, and then the cable itself would be uncovered throughout this middle section. Because it's that type of system, we have these type of mounts that have an open end on one side and a little tiny pinhole, almost a pinhole slot really, on this side. So that doesn't do too well for this hose though. So just temporarily, I know it's ugly, but I'm just gonna zip tie these on like that. The good thing is about this e-bike, and pretty much most e-bikes, is they're ugly anyway, so it's not that big of a deal to keep the ugly going. Yep, that's not really wanting to stay down there, is it? The trick is this: if you want to get these zip ties cut nice and flush, I've seen somebody else on YouTube doing this, use fingernail clippers. Now, my wife doesn't want me using hers, so I actually have to use my fingernail clippers. And with that, you can get just right up on there. And there's almost nothing left protruding, which is nice. There's nothing like sharp anymore. As you can see, it's starting to rise up here in the center. It's definitely not good. I'm gonna try to fix that a little bit by using these small zip ties. I just want to keep everything down somehow. All right, that seems a lot better. But the only thing is I don't trust those little tiny zip ties to last a long time, but it's definitely holding it better. Okay, now I'm in the process of changing out the discs because this original one was 160 millimeters and the new one is 180. One quick tip is when you have an e-bike, or really any bike, you have your cassette down here, but especially an e-bike because you have the electronics coming out of the hub, you don't really want that jamming against the table or just being unstable while you're working on the wheel. Usually I take two 2x4s, but they were too small because all the electronic cables coming out of the hub. So I took one of these, fold up stools you can get anywhere, flipped it upside down, and it's working as a pretty good base. Before I go ahead and throw this on, I'm gonna clean it up though, and then of course critically, make sure I have this orientated the right way. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of dry fit this front wheel, see if I have the caliper mounted reasonably correct. And I don't. It is, I can just look down there and I can see the pads are too high. Okay, apparently we can just chalk this up to me not paying attention again and reading the directions, but apparently these adapters are not the same. They are not the same actually. As you can see, they're very different and I had them wrong. This one belongs on the front and this one belongs on the back. So let me go ahead and install them and that should fix that problem. Okay, that was easy. I just used the wrong adapter front to back. Should have used this slightly shorter one and the arrow points up. It happens to be A2 and now things are working much better. It is still rubbing a little bit, but that might just be some break-in. Maybe I need to do some further adjustment. At least everything's in the right place now. Now I'll do the same thing with the back. And then we need to do the bleeding and put everything together and we should be good to go. Okay, I thought that I had messed up with the installation a little bit because I looked at some of the pictures and I actually did watch their video instruction on how to do the installation, and I found that there are actually a couple supplied spacers that go between these two pieces, and I didn't use them. However, I saw other pictures on their website where another installation didn't use it, and so I looked very closely at where my pads are in relation to the disc. And although I could add those in, it would lift everything up by quite a bit, and actually we would be in a worse condition than we are. So right now, the bottom of the pad is pretty much even with this here, and the top of the pad extends maybe a few millimeters above the disc. So I think that's about the best we can get, and I know for sure if we added those spacers in, everything would be too high. So I'm not really sure what's going on, if there's different, mounts or something. I thought this was like an ISO spec, but I'm really unclear now. And it's exactly the same story with the front. And I did do a test ride already on the bike and it stops really good, but I'm not gonna say that it's all good yet. I'm gonna test ride the bike for about a week and we'll do an actual performance test and I'll let you know overall my impressions. Wanted to real quick show you my cabling. It's not beautiful. I'm not really sure if I'm super happy with it, but I guess it's as good as it used to be at least. The brakes themselves look awesome. Love how they look and love how they feel. But anyway, we'll talk about that more when I do the full review. But yeah, there we go. The installation was, I'd say, medium. It just takes time and you do kind of need to know what you're doing. I would say it's not for a beginner, it's more for like an intermediate bike mechanic. Of course, if you are a beginner, you can do it and you'll become an intermediate maybe. But the good thing is there's not too many specialized tools. The only one I really had to get was this cutter and pusher. So yeah, otherwise it was just standard tools. And so we'll see how the performance is and come back then. All right, we're here at my stopping test grounds. So this will be my stopping point. Yeah, that'll be my stopping point. Then I'm gonna measure 20 feet, 19, 20 right here. I expect it'll be a little better than last time, but who knows? Now, one thing about this is it's really hard to get the speed exactly right because of the way the assistance works on this bike, but I'll try to get it as close as I can, and we'll do 3 tests to hopefully average out any error. Here we go. 30K an hour. Holy moly. I don't know if I was going too slow or what, but that's way less than 20 feet. Okay, I didn't expect that. All right, here goes the second run. I think I might have been going a little too slow that time, so let's really try to get right on 30. There we go, 32. It's a little hard to do. 32, looking for my stop point. Here it is. Yo, pretty much the same. All right, one more try. I still think I might have been at 29 when I hit it. I'm gonna really try to, whoa, jeez. Did you guys see that? Holy crap. I did a little wheelie. The E-assist kicked on, which I knew it would. I came down, slammed the back brake, came down, twisted my bars back. Apparently, I didn't have them tight enough. Holy moly, that was scary. That was so dumb. Oh my God. I mean, I think I can still do the test. My goodness, that was dumb. Oh, okay, I'm getting it turned up again. Okay, now we're good. Okay, there we go. Oh my gosh. It's so screwed up. Definitely gotta tighten that down when I get back. Can't believe I've never had that happen before. I was about to say, I've never had that happen on a bike that I've put together, but I didn't put this bike together. This is how it came, that's why. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. No more wheelies. Let's get up to 30. Okay. And 33, 34, too fast. Okay, I'm coasting. 32, where's my line? Here it is. Oh my gosh. Here we are again, right at that same one. Too good to be true, but I'm gonna try one more. I'm just really trying to get this accurate. I mean, I just don't want to make these brakes seem too good, you know, or something, or oversell them. So trying to get this right. Okay, let's get it up to 30, a little higher than 30. There we go, 33, and I'm coasting. 2 fingers, there's my mark. Yep. I'm gonna call whatever this is the right number. Holy moly, I am like seriously impressed by these brakes. Let's see what the numbers actually bear out to be. So actually, usually I have to go 20 plus whatever it is. Now I actually have to go 20 minus. It's like maybe 4 feet. Because I was getting sometimes here, sometimes there, but there's 4 feet right there. So basically stopping 30 kilometers an hour to 0 with these brakes, 16 feet. That's better than any of my bikes I've tested so far. That's incredible for such a heavy bike. I mean, I guess it shouldn't surprise me. We have bigger rotors. We have 4 pistons on each brake, hydraulic. I can't believe that we went from 28 feet to 16 feet. That's just crazy. Really feels like, feels almost like dirt bike brakes, you know? They have all that power. And they're pretty big levers too. So you get a lot of leverage. I just can't believe how much of an improvement these are. And I don't know the price, honestly. They sent them to me and I didn't even check, but I think they're like $100. I mean, that's an excellent upgrade for the money. All right, so I guess that's pretty much the end of the video. What can I say? I'm really, really impressed by these brakes. And honestly, I think if you get one of these cheap e-bikes that can go 35 kilometers an hour, 22 miles an hour, this is probably the first upgrade you should do because it's safety. They make the bike feel a lot better. Just the hydraulic brakes, you know, they feel a lot better than the old cable ones. They're also quiet. That's another thing. I don't hear any, like, you know, squealing at the last minute or anything like that. And obviously they stop incredibly well. So I don't know. Now I've only rode it for, you know, a few days. I'll leave a comment or some text in the description if I have problems in the future. But as of now, I'm really, really impressed here. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on upgrading brakes or just my video in general. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.